we doing tonight? Hope everybody's having a great night. Hope everybody's having a great end to your week and start of your weekend. For many people, it's going to be a 3-day weekend, so I hope you're off to a good start. What's up, Chris, Zach, the usual suspects? How's everybody doing tonight? Shin Abomination, hello, how you doing? What up, Rick? Time to rock indeed. I'll crack open Diet Coke. How's everybody doing tonight? I was thinking about Summer Games Fest. We're only a couple of weeks away, you know, and I was thinking to myself, what would be some hype moments? And then I got to thinking about some of the rumors that have been swirling around, some of the discussions that have been happening this week in the gaming industry, and I'm just like, man, there's a lot going on. There's a lot that could be popping off, and not only that, but there's a lot that, there we go, that's a good angle. There's a lot that the gaming industry could be like stockpiling to just start dropping on us. What's up, Beck? It's going good. It's going good. I hope you're having a good night. You work from home, Zach? That's nice, man. So I was thinking about Summer Games Fest, and I got to thinking, how wild would it be? How wild would it be if some of these things we've been waiting on for all this time just started popping off? Like Summer Games Fest just started going hard and dropping, like, you know, trailers for all this stuff that had been rumored for a long time. Dude, like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about this past couple of weeks. Some of the things that have been flying around, but I tell you what, I'm really thinking about the Chrono Trigger remake again, and I'm really, man, I don't want to be, but I'm hopeful again. Especially after we had that great conversation about Chrono Cross before we ended the stream last night. I'm stoked. I'm ready. I'm ready for something, for anything. I think, and this is something a lot of you all have been saying too in the chat here in the community. Which is why I'm excited to be building this awesome community with you all again. You all have big brains. Like we encourage thinking outside the box around here, and a lot of you all have great ideas and throw out ideas a lot. And I was thinking, a lot of you all have been talking about some of these rumors and some of the other things that are happening, and throwing ideas out there. You all throwing things out last night that I didn't think about, but you all got me thinking about Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross again. I'm like, man, if they could just do something, even if we didn't get a Chrono Trigger remake, if Square Enix dropped the next Chrono game, that would be amazing. I think I would be more excited for a new Chrono game than a Chrono Trigger remake. That's where all this was going. I get off the rails sometimes. I have to lock back in. I have to refocus. I think I would be more excited for a new Chrono game than I would a Chrono Trigger remake. Chrono Break. Exactly, Trap. Exactly. Chrono Break. Let's do it. Let's go. Yeah. A remake or remaster would be a mind-blowing event too, but I think at this point I'm more in on a new game in the Chronoverse. I'm calling it the Chronoverse because I feel like that's what it is. It's its own universe. It's its own universe of parallel dimensions and different time hops and all these different, like, time and reality altering opportunities that present themselves within the Chronoverse. I think it's really, unfortunately, it's so much untapped potential with that franchise. So, anyway, I'm going to start it there for the night. Welcome, everybody. Everybody just joining, everybody coming in. Welcome. Pull you up a seat. Hang out. Yeah, I put a poll up. What would be your hypest Summer Game Fest moment? New Resident Evil game reveal, I think, is the least surprising because I think we all just expect it. I think we all expect an announcement this year. But we're not expecting a new FF7 trailer this year, even though we're all hoping for it. We're not expecting it. FF9 remake announcement is this one they decided to announce it. Are they finally going to announce this thing that is happening? Are they going to announce this thing finally? And what's been the hang-up? What has been the hang-up with FF9? Final Fantasy 9. There's been this whole mystery around Final Fantasy 9. And I feel like it has something to do with aesthetics and visuals. I think they don't know how they want it to look. And here's why. You remember the animated series, that limited animated feature or series that was going to be done by that French animation studio? I forget who it was. And it was supposed to showcase at that event, like in 2021 or 2022, whenever it was. And it just mysteriously no-showed, and everybody stopped talking about it. And then all of a sudden, that it's not happening. It's, you know, no one's talking about it. I mean, it's real weird what happened with that. And they could pull that. They could have pulled that because they're like, oh, we don't like the way it looks. We want it to look different. That could be what they're doing with this whole remake back and forth. But yeah, the whole thing has been weird with Final Fantasy IX. Super weird. But the whole thing, yeah, with that animated series, that was the start of this whole weird cycle with Final Fantasy IX, right? But yeah, so that would be a crazy announcement. And a Chrono Trigger remake or a new game in the Chronoverse. For me, that would be the most hype. That would be the most hype for me. All rumors are saying the game is done, huh? That's interesting. That's interesting. Y'all remember a few months ago when I made that Final Fantasy IX video talking about, hey, it's happening, you know? Man, I got so much flack for that. I didn't do another one, but yeah. Interesting that you have seen rumors that the game is done. Very interesting. Wouldn't it be interesting if when they announced it, it was just a shadow drop? Wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't that be an interesting reason for them to not talk about it at all and wait to just shadow drop it? A master chess move by Square Enix. I believe the company went under, but it was about 18 months after that weird no-show. Yeah, like nothing's outside the realm of possibility. It's very possible. It could happen. I would say at this point, them shadow dropping a Final Fantasy IX remake would be more probable than them coming out and being like summer 2026, you know? Because I do believe there's a good chance that game is about anywhere from 80 to 90% finished. I believe. It'd be interesting to see what they did with the ability management through the weapons and stuff like that. There's a lot they could do with that. Would a new Chrono game be the same without Mitsuda? No, they would need to bring him in. Like, Yasunori Mitsuda would absolutely score a new Chronoverse game. Absolutely. My phone is all jacked up. I've been trying to save articles and stuff as I see them to kind of like airdrop them onto my computer and talk with you all. but it's not saving any of my articles and stuff, so I'm having to come off the cuff with some of the things I've seen. But there's a lot of stuff saying that Jeff Keighley and his team are lining up. Just like, this is going to be apparently, for everything I'm hearing, this is going to be the first Summer Games Fest that feels like old school heyday E3. Like, that's really what they're trying to work toward, and I'm super excited by that, because I've been going back over the last few weeks when I'm just working on stuff here in the studio, watching old like E3 reactions from people and stuff, and just really diving into those old E3 deep dives when like gaming journalists are on the floor going to different booths and all that kind of stuff, and then the big showcases, watching all of those. And I've been thinking that, man, wouldn't it be so cool if Summer Games Fest could be that. Apparently, that's the aim of this year's show, is to be close to, if not fully on that level. Do I think it'll be on that level this year? I don't. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be much closer than what last year's was. But yeah, so FF7 Reunion might take a few years, but FF7 Redemption might have a teaser trailer ready this year. Wink, wink. Wink, wink. It was an event. E3 was an event. It was so fun in its heyday. And it's like it just died out of nowhere. Like, it just died. Like, COVID killed E3. Like a lot of things didn't come out of COVID 100% or okay or whatever. E3, it destroyed E3. Absolutely. But yeah, like I really hope that the team is working on that, because how fun would it be if in a few years Summer Games Fest was like a destination? Like, it's already kind of becoming that with the Game Awards. Like, people are wanting to go to the Game Awards and check it out and meet the developers and, you know, take the pictures and all that kind of stuff. But imagine like a week-long conference. It's needed. I think it's needed, because I think more than anything, I think people are wanting to be social again, like in-person social, like wanting to get together and hang out and celebrate these things we love. Like, we all love the game industry. We love video games. It's probably my favorite storytelling medium outside of animation. I think animation and gaming kind of lend themselves, they go hand in hand, you know? That's why they work so well together. I think people are really wanting to be social again and hang out at some of these things and meet up at some of these things. And if I'm thinking it, now I know the people that do these shows, that put these things together, I know they're starting to see these trends forming. I see these trends forming online. People are having hangouts, they're having meetups. Before the Switch 2 release, a bunch of people that didn't know each other were like hitting Discords and like, hey man, you know, let's for the Switch 2 release, we should all meet face to face for the first time and hang out and have lunch and go sit in line and wait for the Switch 2. People are missing like the midnight releases. People are missing hanging out in that camaraderie, you know. Jeff Keighley and his team have an amazing opportunity to capitalize on this. Summer Games Fest, make it a week-long destination, have people come out, make it a big deal, and we could have E3 back. But it would be different. So people forget, E3 wasn't just about the games. There was a bunch of other tech demos for things going on, and there was a bunch of other stuff happening. A lot of those companies started pulling out. That's why they started losing funding, and then COVID kind of killed it all. Sony pulled out. I think Nintendo pulled out. There was a lot of stuff happening with that. But if you had it solely focused and game-centric on the future of games, but also celebrate the industry, the history of the industry, where it's at, where it's going, you could make it like an annual showpiece for everything we love about this industry. And people, you know, have their different opinions on Jeff Keighley himself, but I think he's a wonderful ambassador for gaming. He's passionate about gaming. he's also a businessman. He has to make decisions, and he's got his buddies. He's got his buddies and stuff. But I think he's doing a better job than he used to of being more across the board with sharing the love and showing the love. And last year when he gave that closing spot to Rebirth, I think that was a big step in the right direction. Because, for a long time, the Game Awards had like this, I don't want to say the stigma about it, but it's like they didn't really respect JRPGs and stuff like that too much. That has been debunked. That has been debunked, or has changed. One of the two. But I really feel like they're creating something special there. And one of the rumors I'm seeing is that they're really pushing hard to make this year's Summer Game Fest really special, really stand out, really must-watch programming. And I hope they're right. And I hope they start moving in a direction to give us like an annual conference, something to look forward to. Like I said, that would be amazing to just get a bunch of people, meet up, and hang out and just celebrate the industry and the rumors and all the crazy stuff, and everything that comes with it, the theory crafting, the rumors, the hype reactions to trailers and events and stuff like that. I mean, all of it. It's all good vibes, man. Oh, for sure, he will. I mean, but those are his boys. Those are his boys. Like, but the thing, too, you know what? Hideo Kojima is kind of an odd duck. I mean, to not quote the obvious or anything, but, I used to follow him on X, but I never ever saw him talking about celebrating games or game developers or anything like that. It was always like, here's my DVD collection. These are Grindhouse movies I loved in the 70s. These are some Hollywood people I would love to work with. These are directors. I get it. As a guy who has people whose work influenced him he would love to work with, I get it. But it would be nice to see him kind of tout and celebrate other developers and stuff from time to time. Because I feel like Hideo Kojima, regardless of your opinion of him, he's one of those personalities that people are like, oh, this guy helped create the modern era of gaming, Whatever your opinion is on that part is true. What you think of his games aside, he helped create the modern era of gaming. And he's always pushing the envelope, and I respect his brain, I respect his mind. But and if he does those things, I just never saw it. Like, I would never see it on my feed. I actually stopped following him because I was like, all right, I get it. I love Clive Barker too, bro. Like, I love 70s horror movies too, bro. But come on, Well, that was my point I was getting to, Trap. I was like, it's like Kojima wants to be a movie maker, but it's like, well, I guess I'll just sit here and make these games if I can't make movies. I'm like, no, man, embrace what you do. His games are all interactive movies now in many ways, which you could say that's a good thing. You could say he's pushing the envelope. You could say he's blazing a trail, but you could also say it's kind of starting to become one note. And I don't think he's one note, but his work to me is kind of starting to feel that way. I love Death Stranding. I loved Death Stranding. This new one he's working on, this horror game or whatever, it'll be interesting to see what that is. Gaijin. Just get home safe, bro. Just get home safe. I've been there. I understand. Just get home safe. That's all we Hoffmanites want is Gaijin to get home safe. So, have fun. Have fun. Bad decisions make good stories in 10 years. So, I'm not encouraging anything. I'm just saying. You begrudgingly liked Death Stranding? I liked it. It took me a long time to finish it because it's one of those that was in my backlog forever. But I finally finished it about I don't know. I think it was a few months before Rebirth came out. Oh, Chris, like, I absolutely believe that. I've never heard that story about Kojima having a backup drive for his game ideas for his employees if he dies, but I could absolutely believe that. I think most creators have, like, a living log of, like, you know, or like a progressive log about ideas they have and they want to pass off to people if something were to happen to them. I started one when I was having all those health problems a few years ago, which I'm better now, but like I started like a if I die idea log to give to my editor in case the untimely passing, if I should suffer one. Yeah, the ending of Death Stranding, like, legit, I got up and took a piss break. I let it run. I could listen. I was listening to it. I got up and I went and took a piss, got myself something to drink, and came back and sat down in here. Just kept watching it. I was like, is this over yet? Yeah, well, he's in that position now. Like, he's got his own studio. I mean, he's got a cool setup. I can't lie. He's got a really cool setup, and he's kind of a made man at this point in the industry. You know, he's working with whoever he wants to. I think a lot of people respect his mind. But I think as a gamer, as a fan of his work, as a fan of Metal Gear, I guess I'll say. Because really, at the end of the day, correct me if I'm missing something. I'm not like a Kojima like historian. Correct me if I'm missing something, but I think it's pretty much like, hey, the father of Metal Gear. But I mean, I don't know that he's done anything else. I know he helped Mercury Steam with the first Lords of Shadow game for Castlevania. I know he helped with that. And I know, was Zone of the Enders, was that Kojima? Or was that him, just like helping with that? Bro, not another Star Wars game. Like, they need to hit the brakes on Star Wars for a couple of years. There's too much of it. There's too much of it. There's too much Star Wars. That's a game, though, we're talking Zone of the Enders. I would love to see a remaster or a remake of Zone of the Enders. That would be amazing. So Zone of the Enders was his baby? Okay, well, I'll take that one. I like the first one better than the second runner, though. I liked Zone of the Enders 2, but Zone of the Enders 1 was so good. It was so good. And again, that's another one in the Konami archives that they could break out and let someone do something with, you know. I need to look at Konami's catalog, because I know there's tons of games that I just forget about. They could probably keep other studios busy for 15 years doing remakes or remasters of their games. They're sitting on so much money. I just don't understand. I don't understand what they're doing over there. That's the thing about Star Wars people forget, is like, it was so popular, it was such a zeitgeist because we went, what was it, 16 years without a movie? Like, I think, yeah, because Return of the Jedi dropped in 83. And we didn't get The Phantom Menace until, like, 1999. So, yeah, there was 16 years without a movie. Without a show. Unless you count the Ewoks cartoon. But, like, without anything. And just let it rest for a little bit. Because right now it's kind of a dead franchise. It's got a couple of decent shows, but they're just going to keep milking that corpse. They just got to let it breathe. You could let it go for 3 or 4 years, and then come back with like the Old Republic, or you could come back with something new with brand new characters, or whatever you want to do. But man, just let that franchise rest for a little bit. This is coming from a huge Star Wars fan. I used to be. The Ewoks. I said the Ewoks. What's up, Michelle? How we doing? I remember the Ewoks cartoon. We're the Ewoks. And they had that like weird kind of opening song. That was a strange one. I think C-3PO was in the Ewoks cartoon, if I'm not mistaken. There were some cameos from characters, I think, but yeah. Last good Star Wars stuff was the last season of Clone Wars, although Bad Batch was pretty. It had its moments. Bad Batch had its moments. Andor has its moments. I like parts of Ahsoka, but again, you know, it's. I liked a little bit of this. This was kind of okay. It's Star Wars, man. It should never be just part of that was okay. No, it should be like blowing us away every time something comes out, and it's just not. So I don't think Tales of Xillia needs a remake. A remaster would be cool. I would like for that was that Atlas? Was Tales of Xillia Atlas? Tales, is that Atlas? I think it is, right? Or no, okay, never mind. I'm thinking of Ys. Ys is Nihon Falcom. Falcom's a good studio too. There's a bunch of Ys and Arc the Lad games I would like to see get remade or remastered. Arc the Lad was a great PS1 era RPG as well. Yeah, Revenge of the Sith. I remember when that dropped. I didn't get to go see it. The last re-release I went and saw in the theater was Vampire Hunter D 1985. And that was so special, getting to see that in the theater, even though it was the dub. I don't like the most recent dub. I forgot who it was that did it. Oh man, who did the recent Vampire Hunter D dub? It wasn't the Streamline Pictures dub. That's my favorite. I love the Streamline Pictures dub with Michael McConaughey as D. That's my favorite dub. Magnus Lee sounds so good in that. Anyway, I digress. Bandai Namco. Okay, Bandai Namco. Really? Bandai Namco's Tales. Okay, for some reason I thought, who's Atlas? Oh, that's Persona. That's Persona. Okay. And a bunch of other stuff. Persona and a bunch of other stuff. Jedi Survivor. I did not play it, Zach. I let my son watch the original trilogy recently, and he was just this is coming from, at the time, a 6-year-old. He said, "Daddy, why don't they make them like this anymore?" He's like, he's like, "I like Star Wars, but these are really good." He said, "Why don't they do this anymore?" I was like, "I don't know, son. I don't know. I don't get it." Kingdom Hearts 4, Star Wars. See, I could care less. Like, Kingdom Hearts for me, and again, I'm not the biggest Kingdom Hearts fan, so I'm probably not the best person to comment on this. I know I'm not the best person to comment on it. But it just seems like it's just a hodgepodge of all these other things, and to me it doesn't feel like it has its own like life. Like if you take away all those other things, you've got Sora, Kairi, and Riku, and the Heartless, and the Organization 13, and but what is the world? What is the basis? What are the rules of all that? And I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think me and Kingdom Hearts will ever gel. It is both awesome and heartbreaking. That's exactly what I thought too. It's like, that's an awesome statement for my kid, but man, that stinks. But I think my son's an old soul. Like G1 Transformers is his favorite Transformers. Like he's watched them all. He's watched every Transformers show. He liked Earthspark a little bit. He liked Robots in Disguise, but he's always like, Daddy, I just love G. He goes, I love G, the original show. He calls it the original show. Because I just love the original show and the characters so much better. He collects, like, he doesn't want the new cartoon toys when they come out. He wants all the studio series, like G1 inspired characters. Like he wants all them. That's right, Equally Terrible. Yeah, you did. I think you sold me the Devastator. You sold me some Combiner Wars guys. That's what it was. And he still plays with them. He still loves them. We're collecting that Studio Series set of Constructicons that's coming out now. And I'm like, we're going to BotCon next month. And he's excited. So like BotCon falls usually about a week after his birthday. And so like that's kind of a late birthday present every year. Is we'll save up money, we'll go to BotCon, we'll buy some cool stuff. We'll spend the weekend there. So he's looking forward to that next month. Look, Starscream's my guy. Like, you can't see him, but let's see. Right there. I've got Studio Series the Masterpiece Starscream up there with Thundercracker and Skywarp next to Vincent and Kenshin and Naruto and everybody up there. But yeah, that's the crew. That's the crew. But yeah, like in the live action movies, I remember an interview with Orsi and Kurtzman before the movies came out, and one of the first questions anybody asked him, they're like, what's the relationship, how's the writing, and what's the relationship with Starscream and Megatron? Did you get that right? They're like, oh, it's absolutely in there. It was one line. It was one line in the first movie. And in the second movie, they had him drooling and everything. He looked like a gorilla on chicken legs. It didn't look like Starscream at all. It was terrible. This is not going to be a Michael Bay Transformers rant stream because we could be here till Sunday. Thanks, Trap. We would be here till Sunday. I will not subject you all to that. But I loved, like I said, we're going to BotCon in June, and Josh Cooley's going to be there, the director of Transformers 1. I'm super excited for that. I love Transformers 1. I thought it was great. Seen the cartoon movie of Transformers. Oh yeah, the 86 movie. It's like one of the best animated movies ever made. Ever made. Like, I would put the first 30 minutes of that movie up against anything Disney ever made. Because it's just so good. Yeah, we're not going to... Maybe we'll chat about it sometime, Zach. Because I think me and you are right there. We're both screamers, right? Screamer's my dude. Like, when we're playing... Me and my son are playing Transformers. He has me do all the voices. But he always has me do Starscream. Because... I really get into his voice. I like to play the character. We get into it. We play a lot. So I can do Starscream's voice, and I can do the other Decepticons and stuff like that. I do Megatron. I get in there. I get really deep into the Megatron voice. I do all their voices. and he just loves when I do it. Like it's really fun, and we get in there and he'll make up these stories, and I'll play the characters. If I'm sick though, I can't do it because I can't do the voices. My voice is all scratched up, and I can only do it for about 10 minutes, and he just wears me out. But yeah, so I didn't mean to go off on a Transformers thing. Yeah, I've got Devastation. We've played it a lot. But anyway, back to the game stuff. They need a Transformers video game, a new one. That is a weird thing, though, right? Remember, there were a slew of games over the last. Yes. There were a slew of games over the last 2 or 3 years that just got canceled, and I think it's just because, like, budgets were ballooning, and you had like studios going under, budgets ballooning, people not knowing the sky was falling. That Transformers Reactivate game, which looked like it didn't look good. It didn't look good. I mean, they even made toys. They even made Studio Series toys for that, and the game just got canceled. Like the game's canceled. It's not coming out. You know, but that's not the only one. There were a bunch of other games that were announced. I think they're still in limbo. They're probably going to get canceled. It's weird, but I hope the game industry is starting to rebound, because I think they're starting to figure out what their financial needs are, like what they need to do financially to make things happen. And unfortunately, in the case of Bungie, that means stealing artwork. Now, I have looked a little bit more into this, and it looks like Bungie's been caught red-handed, just straight up stealing artwork. It's pretty sickening. Like, and also a lot, like, these gaming industry CEOs, they really need to start taking some PR classes, because what's his name, Randy Pitchford, coming out and saying, well, you know, if you're a fan of Borderlands, you'll find a way to pay $80 for the game. I'm like, man, y'all need to stop talking. All these gaming industry CEOs need to stop talking. You need to stop making decisions. Just write the checks. Just write the checks for the creators. Stop talking. Stop offering input. Stop everything, because they are failing miserably right now. Their business decisions are tanking. They're not saying the things that need to be said. Yeah, I mean, and you can also make the argument that using AI is stealing from people. But my God, I mean, every game company on the planet is using even animation studios, they're all using AI right now. They're just not talking about it. And it's really crazy right now, because like Netflix, their animation studios are using a lot of AI. Video game companies are just pushing into AI. This new VO thing from is it Google? That's who's making VO? Do you all know what I'm talking about? The AI thing that makes realistic looking AI short films and stuff like that. It's insane. It's insane. Like, you can't, unless you have a trained eye, you can't tell difference on this stuff. My point being, don't steal people's artwork from an artist. I mean, it was pretty shocking when I read up on it, that they just took it. They just took it. You know? It wasn't just one thing, it was several things. It just took them. Just crazy. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's the audacity. You know, and they need to be held accountable for that. And I hope and not just in the court of public opinion. Like, they need to be held legally, financially responsible for what they did. Do you think they'll use the Dissidia NT models for both Zidane and Kuja in FF9 Remake? Well, see, I think that's why the FF9 Remake stuff has taken a while. because I think they're trying to decide, or were trying to decide, on what all this stuff was going to look like. I don't think they're going to use those models. I don't. I think they'll be kind of like still proportioned that way, still that art style, but I think it's going to look different than what we think. And what we think of when we think of like an FF9 remake, what it would look like. I think it's going to look vastly. Now, it's not going to be like Zelda Wind Waker. They're not going to drop that on us, but I think it will be something sort of cartoony. I think just the proportions and the way the characters look, I think lends itself to that. They did release new designs, but I haven't seen them. I know they've released from that defunct, or from that canceled animated series or whatever. They released concept work and concept designs, but I have not seen any of that stuff, so I can't comment on it. Final Fantasy IX doesn't need to be several games. Tell that story, give us a 40-hour JRPG, give us 10 to 15 hours of stuff to do on the side, and be done with it, you know? I'm looking forward to what Final Fantasy 17 is going to be. And this is one of the things I want to talk about tonight. People are starting to ramp up talk about Final Fantasy 17, like whether it's just people talking, kind of like we did a little bit last night. Who's going to direct it? Who's going to be producing it? I don't think Kitase is going to be producing. I could see Yoshi P producing it and Hamaguchi directing it. I could definitely see that being the team. And I would like to see. Okay, so I love Ivalice. I love Ivalice as a fictitious world in the Final Fantasy universe, the pantheon of worlds in Final Fantasy. But we've always seen like the Middle Ages, or the basically, yeah, like Middle Ages coupled with a bit of a Renaissance period look kind of for Ivalice, right? What if we got like a modernized, not futuristic, but a modernized version of Ivalice, where, let's say it was 1,000 years in the future of Ivalice from what we've seen. You know, the War of the Lions of Final Fantasy 12 and the Zodiac stuff, that all was part of that world's history. But you have like rocket ships and all that kind of stuff now, and futuristic weapons and stuff. I mean, that would be interesting. But you're still building on the lore of that world, and you can go into space, you could do other stuff. I want to see Final Fantasy kind of go into space a little bit. I want to see some more science fiction elements to it, but not too crazy. It still needs to be fantasy. But yeah, Trap, okay, make FF17 a space fantasy. I don't want to see it be full on sci-fi, because it still needs to be fantasy. It still has to have some of those great fantasy tropes and some of those great fantasy elements. But Final Fantasy 17, Mass Effect fantasy. Nah, I don't need that. We got, well, for one thing, they've got new Mass Effect stuff is coming. So I don't know if they're going to want to tread on that, or they might want to. I don't want to say piggyback, because Final Fantasy should never be piggybacking on anything. It should be the trendsetter. It should be the standard in this genre that we all love to play in. It should not be playing catch up with anybody. It should be dictating the pace. But unfortunately, that's not been the case. Oh yeah, Final Fantasy 17 won't be here until at least 2030. Because they've still got a lot to do. Like, I mean, I could see maybe 2028, especially if their plan is for the remake saga to finish up at the beginning of 2027. If it's not 2028, maybe 2029, but it'll be interesting to see what their time frame is on that, because I'm sure they're already developing it right now. They're probably working on the scenarios, they're probably writing, they're hammering things out, they're getting ideas, they're brainstorming, storyboarding, all that kind of stuff right now, guaranteed. space fantasy is Star Ocean. Like, well, that's another reason that I don't want Final Fantasy to go too far into sci-fi, because they've got an IP for that. I don't want them to take away from Star Ocean. I love Star Ocean, and I want them to continue to grow that IP based on the success of the Divine Force. I want them to take what they did in the Divine Force and build on that. I would love to see a new Star Ocean game in 2028. I want to see a new Star Ocean game every 5 to 6 years. There's no reason they can't do that. Or at least as often as like a new Tales game. Yeah, and equally terrible, FF8 did it well. They had a great balance and they did it well, and it worked with the story. Yoshi P Studio is already developing a big budget game behind the scene. Oh, I didn't know that. I did not know that. Josh C, that's a good point. I mean, I'm sure they've had meetings, and like I said, they've probably decided what the direction for 17 is going to be, and they're getting ready to go. I will bet you money it won't be anything like 16. Because I think they've been scared off of doing like high fantasy for a while, which sucks. Because I was excited. I think we all were excited about Final Fantasy 16 going back to its high fantasy roots. Like looking like old school, like the medieval, the medieval castles and stuff like that. I wish that had worked. I wish they had not tried to make it so Game of Thrones and not tried to make it for a Western audience. Just make their game, because just making their games their way with Japanese sensibilities and with their culture and stuff in mind when they're telling these Western stories, that's what made Final Fantasy. Trying to take Western properties and write those as your Final Fantasy, 16 proved it just doesn't work. That's not what we want. Well, that was what Final Fantasy VIII did really well. Guns and magic. You know what I mean? I'll tell you what. My favorite space fantasy story ever is Outlaw Star. Like, just if they wanted to do a space fantasy, they could just like repurpose all of Outlaw Star's thematic stuff and their characters, and even the caster gun. I mean, my God, that's one of the greatest anime weapons of all time. It's up there with, for me, it's up there with Guts' Dragon Slayer sword. Is Gene Starwind's caster gun. I love that. And Tenchi's Light Hawk Wing sword. Those are great. And, just use Outlaw Star as a template. If you want to tell a space fantasy, there it is. It's Outlaw Star. Just do that, Square Enix. Just make that. Yeah, Outlaw Star, I think, is probably my favorite anime series of all time. It's really good. It's so underrated. That's okay, Trap. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect, bro. Yeah, man. When that music would hit, I was in college at the time when it was airing. I'd get home from class, throw my books on the table, eat some cold pizza, and I'd hear it. I knew it was time to get down. It's time to get down for 30 minutes. Ooh, check it out, Michelle. Outlaw Star is the truth. It is the truth. And you can see over the years how people have, borrowed things from Outlaw Star. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, But there were a couple of things that came out a few years ago. I was like, that's Outlaw Star. Well, I'll tell you one in particular. Joss Whedon put out a show called Firefly, which he ripped off. He ripped off so much from Outlaw Star. It was, everybody was like, oh, it's Cowboy Bebop. I'm like, nope, not Cowboy Bebop. He ripped off Outlaw Star. Get it right. Even the case they find River in, that's like, it's Melfina. I was like, how is he not getting sued? It was that blatant. People are like, I love Firefly. I'm like, okay, I don't know how he didn't get sued by Sunrise for making that show. Big O is great. Big O Season 2, a lot of people slept on. Big O Season 2 is amazing. Yeah, Game of Thrones was popular when they were conceptualizing 16. But, so, for my taste, that is not having the pulse on the finger. What am I trying to say? That is not having your finger on the pulse of your fan base. Like if they went to Final Fantasy fans and polled them, was like, "How do you feel about Game of Thrones?" I think it's all right. You know, I don't think a lot of Final Fantasy fans are coming out and saying, "Oh God, I love Game of Thrones so much," especially when they were conceptualizing 16, because that was when Game of Thrones was on the down slope. Game of Thrones was not doing well when they started conceptualizing 16. That was when it was on the back end of its show and the writing was getting real bad. But they still ran with it. But it's like I said last night, 16, like, it tried to do a lot of mature adult moments, which I commend them for. I think the series is ready for that, but it felt like it was situations that 30-year-olds would be in together that were written by 15-year-olds. That's how it felt to me. It never came off as, that stuff never came off as genuine. Especially the sex scene, or like, you know, what their attempt at passion in some of those scenes and all that. I mean, it just, I don't know. It didn't feel legit to me, you know? It felt like a bunch of 15-year-olds like, oh man, it's right like this, and let's make it sexy, let's make it steamy, you know? I mean, it never felt genuine to me. Get your pulse off my finger, sir. Stop pulsating my finger. We're getting into a whole other territory there. Oh my God. Equally terrible. Like, okay, so let me defend Ben a little bit here. Oh my God. I forgot about that, but I remember I was kind of joking about it when it happened. Any awards show like that, they usually pan away from all the other people quickly and just show the reaction of the person who won. Like nowadays they don't do that, but they used to do that back in the day. So for this awards show, I don't think he was prepared to get like the Oscar camera hanging on everybody moment like he did. And they announced it, and he had this floodlight that was as powerful as the sun just like on him, you know? He's like he expected to win and didn't. Oh my God. Yeah, the writing for 16 was wildly inconsistent. Jill was a great, I liked Jill. I did. And also, oh shit, what was Clive's brother's name? Which I thought the writing for him was a little off. Like, I thought I was gonna like him more than I did. And I just kind of was like, meh. Like, he was just kind of meh for me, you know? There were good characters in 16, but Clive's brother, I was not as big a fan of as I thought I was gonna be. I liked him. Joshua, thank you. Joshua! Yeah, heard that a few times. I didn't like him as much as I thought I was going to, which was disappointing. I was ready to really enjoy that character a lot. And watching that, because I figured that character was going to have some growth. And he did, but it wasn't in a direction that felt like it was congruent with the story. That's all I'll say. Sid was amazing. Sid was one of the best characters in it. Sid, like, he had Han Solo energy. Like, when Sid was in the game at points, I felt like it was his game. I felt like it was his game. And I was like, oh man, they pulled an Ezio with this. They wrote this character way too good. They were way too in on this character. And there were points where he really overshadowed Clive. He overshadowed things that were just going on, that were important. Yeah, I agree. He should have been hanging around a little bit longer. But, I mean, that's the other thing, too. When you think about what makes a great Final Fantasy character, I don't think it's any one thing. I think when they're working on 17, they should keep that in mind. Think outside the box. Keep an open slate. Don't box yourself in. Go with whatever the best story is and circulate that around whatever the best characters are. Make them fit together. Don't make one thing fit the thing. Like, we have to have a space opera. Okay, well, let's do it like this. Well, maybe you don't have to have a space opera. You could say Star Wars isn't about going into space if you spend a whole story on Kashyyyk, or if you spend a whole story on Naboo. Well, it's not really about space at that point. You know what I mean? It's about that world. You could say the same thing about Gaia. Sid goes into space at some point and meets aliens, and now all of a sudden Final Fantasy VII is a space opera. Tenchi Muyo. All my anime fans out there, it's let's say it's about Jirai. Well, it's no longer a space opera. It's about the world of Jirai. You see what I'm saying? So Final Fantasy could do a sci-fi thing with space elements, but still like ground it and not make it too over the top. Like, ease people into this concept of Final Fantasy going to space. Ease them into this prospect, and then maybe with 19 or 20 in 15 or 20 years, when I'm too old to enjoy games anymore, then maybe the next logical leap would be taking one to space. Space Station Midgar reporting. Tenchi Universe was the best Tenchi, and I will not hear otherwise. Tenchi Universe was good. Tenchi in Tokyo had some charm, but my favorite is still the OAV, because it had my favorite version of Kagato, even though he was only around for like 2 episodes. I loved Mad Scientist Kagato with the Soja ship. It was basically this living ship that had 2 dimensions to it. It was like so cool. So cool. Well, I hope I'm around to enjoy Final Fantasy 20. Never know what life's going to throw at you, my people. But, Final Fantasy 20 in space. That's a ways off. We still got to get to 17. We still got to get 18, 19, 20. But who knows? They could go any direction with it. And that's what's really fascinating about the Final Fantasy series. It's not set to any one thing. That's why I thought Final Fantasy 16 was really cool when it came out, because you're slowly progressing. 13 or 15 had like those modern elements with classic kind of fantasy cinema kind of stuff, but it was its own thing. And then it felt like it was progressing toward like another like leap or evolution of that kind of thing, maybe with more flying cars and castles and stuff. But they took it back because they didn't box themselves in. They took a chance, and had they not leaned so hard into the Game of Thrones, it probably would have worked out, you know. But we'll never know. What really killed Final Fantasy 16 for me, and this isn't like a bag on 16 session, because it had good stuff. I love the combat in 16. There's just not enough reward for your work. Like exploration is boring and dull as hell in Final Fantasy 16. You all know, one of my favorite things about playing an RPG, especially a JRPG, is being rewarded for exploration. That's what Expedition 33 does so well. I go out of the way for something. I'm finding Pictos, I'm finding Lumina, I'm finding this, I'm finding something, you know. I'm finding crazy battles, you know. It's something. You go way out of your way in 16, there's nothing there. And Remake did that. People, don't forget, Remake did that too, and they fixed that. They fixed that in Rebirth. They gave us a lot of stuff to do out in the open world. You venture off to a place, you find a little something, you at least find some monsters to grind, or you find some items, or you find something. In Remake, you go down these huge chasms, these huge hallways, and there's just nothing there. And it was kind of a bummer, to be honest. Yeah, I will always critique. I wish for me 16 would be a better game if they had put out some kind of patch and all this big open empty area, they put some things there. You know, I'd go back and play it again if they did that. If they came out with some kind of 16 definitive edition and they put some things in there, they peppered in some like tougher fights, like some little treasures to find, or some, what are those little I forgot what those little fonts or wells were called, something, you know what I mean? I'd go back and play it again. Well, yes, it had hardware limitations and they did pad a lot of levels, but you could put a treasure box at the end of that big empty corridor. You could put some monsters to grind out. I'm not going to accept that as an excuse. Equally terrible. They could have put something in those places. Just take those assets and drop them here and there. I mean, they made the hallway. Just put something in the hallway. Just reading some of the other comments here real quick. Well, that's what's interesting about the possibility of the third game, Zach, because we have to go back to Midgar. We have to go back to Midgar. So hopefully one of the things they're working on is let us, because like I've said many times before, when it comes to Final Fantasy VII Redemption, ding, ding, this is it. Put it all in. Put all your cards on the table. Put your balls on the table. Yeah, I said it. Do it. Because, like, this is it. This is it. You got to go all out. Give us fully explorable Midgar. Just do it. No excuses. No bullshit. Just do it. Period. Oh, this is Nikki's guitar solo from Chrono Cross. It's gonna go big and go hard. Yeah, just put all of your ideas out there. Even if it's stupid, like weird little boss fights that, oh, this will never make it in. Find a place to put it. Just find a place to put it somewhere in the world. You got a big world to fill with stuff. You got to fill this world with stuff. Start filling it. Reclaim, though, the reason I don't like Reclaim is because it doesn't, Final Fantasy VII Reclaim. Like, I don't know. It just... I don't feel like I'm speaking properly when I say that. It doesn't roll off the tongue. It doesn't, like... I know they say reclaim a lot, but I don't... I just don't think it sounds right. It doesn't sound good. I know a lot of people are saying reclaim, reclamation. I've seen a lot of people saying it. I just personally don't think it sounds good. Genesis on Zach's team. We'll see. We'll see what they do with the Genesis stuff. I guess if Zach is creating pocket dimensions just for them to be destroyed and consumed by Sephiroth, then I guess in one of his Afterlife Fever dreams, Zach could have a version where it's Genesis palling around with him. It fits themes, but so does Redemption. Redemption even more so because of what they showed us at the end of Temple of the Ancients. And Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, if you tie it into Sephiroth's rebirth, that is what the end of Final Fantasy VII showed us. That's why before Rebirth even came out, I put that video out that said Final Fantasy VII Sephiroth's Rebirth, because the game showed us that. That's why I put that out there. The reason I'm going so hard on Redemption is because at the end of Rebirth, that's what the game showed us. Would be the theme for the next game, is Redemption. So that's why I'm going with that as my title. Now, when the title comes out and it's Final Fantasy VII Re Party, then it's like, I'll be like, yeah, I was wrong, my bad. Final Fantasy VII Repurpose, Final Fantasy VII Refurbished, then I'll be like, yeah, I was wrong. Final Fantasy VII Refurbishment, Final Fantasy VII Refreshments. Refreshments all around. We're going to Costa del Sol. Tifa's going to be slinging drinks, making some cocktails, tossing them around the bar. Final Fantasy VII Refreshment. Final Fantasy VII Retread. Reunion has been a theme that Square Enix has been hinting since Advent Children, and then the first trailer. Well, Reunion has been around since Final Fantasy VII OG, so I wouldn't be shocked if Reunion was the title. That's definitely in the running for sure. And, you know, it might make sense for them to say Final Fantasy VII Reunion, because, like, I could see Nomura and Kitase being like, oh man, you know, we've been, you know, Reunion's been such a theme since Final Fantasy VII OG came out back in the day. You know, what if we finally just put our stamp on this MFer and we just call this third game Final Fantasy VII Reunion and put our stamp on it? We were building to this for 30 years, you know, here it is. I could see them doing that. You're right, Zach. Crisis Core got Reunion. Crisis Core Reunion, so yeah, they probably wouldn't use that. Yeah. Oh, you know what? You're right. Because, like, we've had this conversation before here on the things, like why Reunion wouldn't be one of the titles because of Crisis Core Reunion. Y'all are right. We've had that conversation before. I was like, why did I go off of Reunion so early on? That was why. But I forgot why. Yeah, you're right. Because early on, I said it could be Final Fantasy VII Reunion, and then Crisis Core Reunion was announced. I was like, oh, well, there goes that, you know. I didn't forget about Crisis Core Reunion, but I guess I've already, like, unlogged it from my brain. So, Yeah, I had fun with Reunion with or Crisis Core, the remaster. I had a lot of fun with it. But at the end of the day, it was Crisis Core. And I was like, I loved the improvements they made to the game, just from the gameplay and the quality of life stuff and adding things to it. All the missions they added. God, there were so many missions. And I had a lot of fun doing that. But at the end of the day, it was still Crisis Core. I was like, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, the hallmark of Crisis Core Union was the gameplay. Like, all the battles, all the missions. I had a lot of fun just running around and fighting, to be honest. I've still got my original Crisis Core Reunion, or Crisis Core for PSP. I've only got 3 of my old PSP games still. I've got Castlevania, I've got Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions, and I've got Crisis Core. Those are the 3 I never got rid of. I forgot the subtitle for... Oh yeah. Look at this Ayami Kojima artwork. She is the GOAT Castlevania artist. She is amazing. The Dracula X Chronicles. Killer game. Killer game. Amazing game. Amazing game. And this is one of the best cover arts ever for a Final Fantasy game. One of the best ever. Final Fantasy Tactics: The War of the Lions. And game companies, what the hell are y'all doing? Let's get back to making cases, jewel cases, and put some awesome booklets in there. Let's get back to this. Let's get back to basics, people. Y'all are screwing the pooch on this stuff. Very easy. We gamers, we want a package, we want a cool booklet in there, and we want some cool stuff. That's it. It's not rocket science. Stop making bullshit decisions. That's all we want. Give me a cool booklet, man. Give me a cool booklet. Oh, War of the Lions, Zach? Oh, dude, yeah. Emulate that tonight. Like Final Fantasy Tactics, emulate that tonight. I've been kicking around the idea of like the next crowdfunder that I do. If I do like another, I don't know when or if I'll ever do another Kickstarter or anything, but if I do, one of the things I want to like offer is like an old Super Nintendo style manual for ARAURA with like the characters and like their biographies and like their stats and all that kind of stuff, and make it like a Super Nintendo like manual, like a 32-page manual just full of cool stuff and art and images and stuff. I've always wanted to make one of those. Oh yeah, Lunar, like I can't find my Lunar 1, but I've still got my Lunar 2 Collector's Edition PS1 box with all that good stuff in there. I've still got all that stuff. Digital booklets are not cool, man. Not cool. You want to hold that. You want to hold that and look at it, you know? Have it on the shelf behind you. Like I'm starting to build my Berserk shelf. I got my Vampire Hunter D shelf. I'm starting to build my Berserk shelf now. Yeah, the Final Fantasy VII Deluxe editions and up, Deluxe and Collector's editions, are fantastic. The booklets and the box they came in, they're amazing. Amazing. They're fantastic. Excuse me. I worked all day. I went in at 11 o'clock this morning. I got off at about 10 o'clock tonight. That's why I was so late coming on. But it was a long day. And your boy is tired. And I got to do it again tomorrow. Well, later today, I guess I should say at this point. Tomorrow night, when I come on, we're going to do a little discussion like this. But then I'm going to get back into playing Expedition 33. I'm really ready to get through Act 2 and then push through the end of the game. It's starting to get into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth spoiler territory for me now. I don't want to disappear from X again, but I will. It's not going to take me a year to finish this game, though. We're going to finish it up hopefully next week. I want to finish it up next week. I want to get through it. I will at some point go back and do all the extra stuff, but I want to get through the story right now, so... Off stream, I have been doing some grinding. I want to get my levels and my characters a little bit higher. But yeah, I want to finish it next week. I want to finish it and then move on. Yeah, I just want to beat it. I just want to get through it and beat it. Yeah. Like it is up there with Rebirth as the game of this generation. Like legit. When I finish it, I'll figure out for me personally. But right now, I feel like it's one of the best games in the last 15 years. Expedition 33 lacks towns. Ordinarily, I would say yes, but in this case, I'll say no because they're in like a weird. They're in like a very weird situation with what they're the area of the world they're traversing. It's almost like a quarantine zone around the Paintress. It's almost like this big, massive 100-mile quarantine zone, and there's just not a lot of stuff there. There's no people. There's like no humans. It's all gestrals and nevrons and stuff like that, but there's like no people, except for, you know, the family. But yeah, it's very interesting, and I'm loving every minute of it right now. I haven't played it since like story stuff since the last time we were on here playing together, but I have been doing some grinding, like I said. But I'm ready to get back to it tomorrow night. It fits the theme. Yeah, Orly. It fits the theme of what's going on in the story. Like, ordinarily, if this were just like a regular RPG where you're questing to the top of the mountain to kill the wizard in the castle or whatever, you know, then yeah, I'd be like, yeah, it needs more towns. But this is a bit of a different situation where it's like end of the world type stuff. And there's not like... Yeah, just the area they're in, it makes sense why there's not a whole lot of towns. Yeah. I almost said it last night, but in case there's people who have not played the game, I did not want to spoil that for them. I did not want to say that. But it was a clear homage. Like, not even, they weren't even like they weren't ripping it off. It was a clear homage to that moment. Clearly that was them saying, hey, you know, this game influenced us a lot. This is us tipping our hat to that game with this major, crazy, mind-blowing moment. That's what that was. The scaling, balancing, and menu UI. Well, yeah, see, I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying, but the strength of Expedition 33 is its characters, its writing, and its story. The gameplay stuff, and they even use, like, generic Unreal assets and stuff to kind of streamline their work process. I think that has come out. I think I read an article, they were talking about that. So that's confirmed. So the technical stuff, that's why technical stuff is like at the bottom of my list, because if it's important for you, that's fine, and that's valid. if that's what you prefer. But for me personally, I overlook those things just because I'm like, yeah, I mean, I notice them, but it's not as important as the story or the characters or even the art and the music and stuff like that for me. Yeah, exactly. Again, we'll talk privately sometime, but yeah, I don't want to ruin that for anybody. Yeah, it's definitely the game of the year. It'll be interesting to see. There's some other games coming out. What are some big games coming out? I know we've got a few on the docket, but I know there are more games coming out this year. But I remember looking through the list, and nothing stood out as something that I feel like is going to challenge this game. Like, really. But, you know, like I always say, whatever your game of the year is, that's the game of the year. That's it, you know. Well, the thing I love about the story and the characters of Expedition 33 is that you are dropped into a situation with them that is going to finish up soon. Like, you're never intended to spend a lot of time with these characters. Like, as far as, like, you know, Final Fantasy VII, you know, or many RPGs, the story takes place over stories, or in some cases years, you know. Expedition 33 is literally a couple days. You know, that's it. It's like a couple days, that's it. You're in and out. So I've seen a lot of people say that they felt like it felt rushed and it affected the story for them. Like, as far as the story feels like you're rushing through the story. That's how it's supposed to feel. That's how it's supposed to feel. Because you're on this thing, you're working against the clock. You got to get there. You got to get this thing done. You got to push forward. You got to go now. Go. Even when your people are dying, go. It's like being in war. You know, it's like, you know, when they landed on that beach and Renoir came out and just started massacring their party, it was Saving Private Ryan. I mean, I don't know that that's what they were inspired by, but 100% I feel comfortable saying they must have been inspired by that in some way. The Normandy landing on Saving Private Ryan, it was chaos, mayhem, death, and it was like, we gotta go. It's like go. You know, it was crazy, and the story for me, in many subtle ways, still has that same vibe to it as you're going through the story. And just when you started getting comfortable with your crew, that thing happens and then turns you on your head again and makes you uneasy, and it makes you feel like, oh man, anybody could go at any time. Anybody can go at any time now. You know, and so I like how thematically it makes you uneasy. Act 3 spin. Well, usually in most RPGs, Act 3 is like, tie everything up, get your shit done, go beat the last guy. Attack on Titan, yeah, I could see there's that vibe with Attack on Titan for sure. Hopefully Expedition 33 just gets to the point, though. Attack on Titan lost me around, I think it was end of season 2 or beginning of season or middle of season 3, or whichever one it was. It's like, you know, I got to a point with Attack on Titan where I was like, just get to the point. God, you're wasting my life. I didn't even finish it. Like Attack on Titan now, it's funny because every now and then they'll show it on like Toonami, like on Saturday nights. And I'll just sit there and be like, oh, I didn't see this episode, and I'll watch it. I'll be like, oh yeah, I got no idea what the hell's going on. I really loved Attack on Titan when it dropped. It just kept going and kept going. It was clear that they had ideas, but didn't know which idea they wanted to go with. And it took forever to come out. Exactly. And now they're doing like a final movie and or something. Like, you know, there was the final attack. Did that come out, or is that the one that's coming out? I have no idea. My brain's hurting talking about it. Oh, dude, Transformers Dark of the Moon. Oh my god. That movie is terrible. You could argue Revenge of the Fallen's really bad too. The first one's not great, but it's okay. It's a good introduction. Revenge of the Fallen, by the end of that movie, I'm like, yeah, they don't get these characters at all. It should have been called Humans. Like the Transformers movie should have been called Humans. Humans. And then, like, in Transformers 4, I think it was, when they're hunting Ratchet. Ratchet! Of all people, of all characters. You know, I said people, and of all characters. And then the guy's like, my sister was in Chicago. I was like, man, fuck you. It's not about you. It's about this guy you're slaughtering right now. You're the bad guy. You know? It was just obvious they didn't get it. You know? And again, here we go. I'm ranting on Michael Bay's Transformers movies. But, oh, Starscream, yeah. I don't mind spoiling this because I don't want y'all to watch this trash. Like, it was a bunch of paramilitary guys killed Starscream. It's like, what the fuck is that? You know? Of course, it was Gorilla Chicken Starscream, so, like, kill that abomination. I don't care. I like to pretend that that's some weird alternate universe and the real Starscream's out there watching and cackling, you know? But I don't mind. I'll spoil all those Michael Bay movies because I don't want y'all to waste your life with that trash. Just boot up Transformers 1. Just go watch the 86 Transformers movie, the cartoon movie. The best Transformers movie ever made, still to this day. It was lame. It was so lame. It's like the path to world peace is everybody binding together and hating on the Michael Bay Transformers movies. It's like we all have a common enemy. Enemy of my enemy is my friend. Don't watch Matrix 4. I never watched Matrix 4. I didn't watch it. Me and my wife had talked about maybe sitting down and watching it one night, and we both went, no. Let's watch a paranormal show. Let's watch Paranormal Caught on Camera instead of The Matrix 4. I'd rather watch one episode of These Woods Are Haunted than watch The Matrix 4. Give me a break, man. I can't do it. I love Keanu Reeves, but I can't do it. They replaced Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus. I'm like, nah, man, you lost me. Yeah, we saved ourselves an evening of distress. Let's watch Ghost Bros instead. Who are those guys? It's Zach and the two other guys. We call them Ghost Bros. Ghost Bros. Hey, we're gonna go hunt some ghosts, man. Let's go lock ourselves in this building and scream like bitches. Why are you screaming when you find a ghost? That's what you're there for. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Why are you screaming and running? That's what you came in here looking for. Yeah, all the Transformers look like they just threw a bunch of like computer parts in a dryer and turned it on. Especially when they start fighting each other. It's like, damn, you fried how many Macs to animate this trash? You fried like 10 Macs for this scene? Come on, man. Sorry, Beck. Sorry that happened to you. Sorry you had to experience that. Yes, this music. This music is so good. Since we started talking about the Chrono Cross soundtrack last night, I've just been listening to it like whenever I'm here at the desk. Just start listening to the Chrono Cross soundtrack. So, new poll. New stream poll. What random TV show would you rather watch than The Matrix Part 4 or any Michael Bay Transformers movie? I'll watch reruns of Gilligan's Island. Syndicated Happy Days. I watched Matrix 4 and was so incredibly confused and came out feeling like I wasted my life. Well, see, that was the thing with me. I was like, I know we won't get another one. I know they won't make another movie. I know they won't. And this movie is going to be so confusing, and it's going to be made for people that like to come up to other people after a movie and be like, I totally understood what they were doing there. You didn't? Watch my 3.5 hour breakdown of The Matrix on YouTube, with commercials every 3 minutes, with ad breaks every 3 minutes. If you want the intense breakdown, where I explain to you everything that happens, then please become a member on my channel for $25 a month. Like The Matrix 4 was made for those guys. No, that's not true, Equally Terrible. That's never happened. I don't have the right speedo for that. Man. I've only seen Matrix 1. It's the only one you need to see. Though The Matrix 2 had some incredible fight sequences in it. Incredible fight sequences. But they're very dated. Like, if you watch them now, like, they're very dated. The Office. I don't know. For some reason, I almost said A Quiet Place. I'd rather watch that. But I think Quiet Place is stupid. I wouldn't want to watch that either. I think when you said The Office, I thought of Quiet Place because of the guy that's in the Quiet Place movie. There was a great SNL skit called like Taco Tuesday or something like that. And it was like this family eating Mexican food in like the fallout from that, if you will, in the Quiet Place world. It was pretty intense. I would encourage you all to check that out if you ever get a chance. It was fun. Bro, how many gifted to play Shala's theme from Chrono Trigger? Also, I would rather watch the last season of Lost again to answer that question. Oh my god, that's an undertaking. That is an undertaking. Shala's theme from Chrono Trigger. I'll be happy to play that. Let's look for it. Let me look. Here. I know I've got it. I don't want to go through all my files to find it. Let's see here. Boom. I would love to find a nice arranged version of that. Let's see. I might be able to find one. Let me look. Shala's theme. Oh, yeah. That's the good stuff. That's the good stuff right there. Anytime. There's a great version of this. I can't remember the name of the album, but it's an arrangement album with vocals and people singing over it. It was a studio album. It wasn't a live album. But they did Shala's theme, and it was mixed with another theme. And it was really good. Like, it was really good. Well, I think that's going to do it for me for the night. Just for tonight. I gotta get back to sleep. Try to get some rest tonight. Come on, hang out with you all. Appreciate y'all being here. Always a good time. Like I've said many a time before recently. I think, well, I know tomorrow night I'm going to come on earlier. And I'll probably be on around 9:30 or 10 tomorrow night. Depending on the night. But we'll do a little conversation tomorrow night. I'll be doing some theory storming tomorrow night about a couple things that I've got here that I want to get to. And we will be playing Expedition 33, and we'll try to push through and finish this game next week. That's my goal. That's my hope. Anyway, but we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. Also, I wanted to tell you all, starting next week, I will be streaming some nights on the ARAURA YouTube channel, production stuff, animation stuff, comic art stuff, and just talking and hanging out with people there. So if you all are interested in that, we will put a link for the ARAURA YouTube channel in the chat, and y'all can check that out. Also, if you haven't checked out the 20-minute rough cut of the pilot, I would suggest everybody check that out too. That's a good time. So, anywho, you all have a great night. Be good to each other. Stay safe. Keep rocking. Let me do that again. I'm tired. I'm tired. I got wore out bashing on Michael Bay's Transformers movies and The Matrix 4. Let me do that again. You have a great night. Be safe. Be good to each other. Keep rocking. And I will see you all tomorrow night for more Kaufmanite goodness. You all take care, and I will see you all later. There's all the stuff. There's all the stuff right there. I'll catch y'all later.
you.